Can I say, ay, Johncito?
No, Juancito. Puedes llamar lo que tú quieres. Eso, no hay problema. Je vous présente mon ami Pauline.
Bravo! Hi, John.
Pauline, you are from France?
Yes.
Where in France?
So I was born in the north of France, like frontier with Belgium. Most of my life, I lived in Paris, in the suburb of Paris.
Suburb of Paris. Like, no district, any of the districts? Not district number?
No, a little bit outside of Paris, but like northwest of Paris.
Well, Pauline, you are my friend from salsa dancing, bachata dancing, that's how we met. You also speak multiple languages, French, English, and Spanish, really fluently. Like, podemos hablar en español también.
Sí, también.
Y bueno, ¿hace cuánto tiempo ya estás aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Hace ya 7 años y media que llegué aquí en Boston.
Before going to US life, from you. So you did high school in France, then university.
Yeah.
How does that work in France? Because in Peru, you might not know this, but we finished high school at 16 years old.
Okay.
So how is it in France?
So high school is a bit longer. Had the high school until like 18 years old. And after that, we go to the university. I mean, there are like different, actually, I would say school path, or you go in more like a more private path, which is maybe like business school, engineering school, this kind of thing. Or you go to the university, which is like more public university.
Okay.
In my case, I went to the universities. The first 3 years are for like the bachelor, and then you have 2 years of like master.
Basically 5 years
Yes.
completing with a master.
Exactly.
So by the time you were 23, 24,
Yes.
you were done with a master.
Exactly.
And then you say you have to pay for that or no?
So like for public university, you do pay, but it's like I don't remember exactly, but it's like a very low subscription compared to, like business schools, for example, or engineering school. It's like much less than what you could pay in like private school. Much.
Okay.
Depends on the school or university that you're doing. You also do internship during your master. While you're doing your internship, you also paid for that.
Meaning how much? Like, do you have an estimate? Because here in the US,
yeah.
it's expensive, either, public state school or private, right?
Yeah. I guess at my time, because it's been a little while that I've been out of the university, but I think for the master, I would say that it was maybe between like 500 to 1K euros per year for the master, but it was less than that during the bachelor.
When you finish at 24 years old, your master degree, you stay in France, you travel somewhere?
After that, I actually stayed in France and I worked for like 2-3 years. After that, I moved to Colombia for a year.
I know why Colombia. ¿Por qué Colombia?
¿Por qué Colombia? Por varias razones.
Ok, dime las principales.
Bueno,
Colombia.
pues, me fui a Colombia por diferentes razones. At that time, I was hanging out with a Colombian guy, so my boyfriend was Colombian. But on top of that, I had also other personal goals. So I also wanted to be fluent in Spanish. I wanted to live a long time abroad because I didn't have that experience during my studies because I was fencing and so I couldn't do both.
Oh yeah, you did fencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that. That's really cool. Okay.
And so for that reason, because I was part of a team in France, I didn't have the opportunity to go abroad for like a long time. So it was like discovering, South America, or at least one of the country of South America, live in somewhere that is completely different from my country, learn a new language, or at least like improve it. And then, of course, I guess, see if it was working.
¿Y en Colombia cuánto tiempo?
Me quedé 1 año en Colombia.
1 año.
Sí.
Todo, pero en Bogotá, Medellín, Cartagena.
O sea, la mayor parte del tiempo me quedé en Cali, es donde yo vivía, en Santiago de Cali. Pero mientras estaba en Colombia, viajé en varios lugares. Entonces me fui para Bogotá, me fui a Medellín, a Cartagena, Santa Marta, La Guajira, y otros
¿Y qué tal,
lugares.
bonito?
Colombia es un
O
país
sea,
maravilloso,
para que hay gente que nunca va a Colombia, yo todavía no voy a
¿verdad?
Colombia. ¿Qué es lo que recomiendas? Like,
Yo definitivamente les recomiendo de ir por allá porque es un país muy bonito. La gente es como muy cálida, muy amable, muy sonriente.
ah,
Me gusta mucho la música que están tocando por ahí.
¿cómo que es lo que toca? Aparte de
Salsa, bueno,
salsa,
la salsa caleña,
cale.
salsa caleña, o sea, como tal, como el baile,
Ujú.
todos estos pasitos de, ay, eso es de maravilla.
No.
Y después la comida también es rica, o sea, me gusta. La comida que por ahora, de lo que probé de Latinoamérica como comida, me encanta la de Perú. Es mi number
Por
one.
favor, Peruvian food is amazing. Even more cooked by a Peruvian, right?
Fair enough. Pero también me gusta, sí, me gusta la comida colombiana también.
Y tú tomas café.
I don't drink coffee,
We,
but I definitely tasted it.
Oh, really? Oh,
And
interesting.
I can definitely like, even if I don't drink coffee on a regular basis, I do like, I could feel like the difference between, you know, the French coffee and the Colombian one. Colombian one is like softer, but there's more flavor. The French coffee is like darker.
Yeah. I like you guys, your culture of like being outside, you know, in the winter, like just wine and champagne and smoking and relax outside the restaurants on the sidewalk, right?
Yes, yes.
This
I
is
think that like the terrace culture, you know, like being outside on the terrace and having like or a coffee in the morning or actually in the afternoon as well, or you know, like sipping a little bit of wine with cheese and charcuterie. I think it's definitely a real cliche, and bread, of course. I mean,
yeah, bread.
I think that's what I miss the most actually being in the US.
Really?
The French bread, you cannot find that anywhere else but in France.
that's
Or at least like as good as the French bread,
Yeah, you're
nowhere else but in France.
that's true. So, okay, in your life in the US, okay, you live in Colombia,
Yes.
and then Colombia.
And then so after Colombia, I got back to France and I was ready to settle down back to France.
Really? Okay,
But-
you didn't tell me this part.
Yes,
Literally not tell me.
initially that was the plan. I guess, I mean, I got an opportunity to, I applied for a job and I got an opportunity to move to the US with this company. That's the reason why I'm in the US. So I moved to the US for work in Boston.
So, what was your first impression of the US when you arrived?
Okay, I've been to the US before that. I spent like 6 weeks in San Francisco, like years ago, to improve a little bit my English back then. And then I visited very quickly New York, been a little bit to Houston, but like mostly Boston is definitely my first time like living in the US.
In the US. Okay, cool. And the first impression you recall living as now is like.
I mean, I feel like Boston is a very lovely city. And I arrived in May, and I remember that, like, at that time, I was living in Fenway, and my work was in Kendall. And so I was walking all the way from Fenway to Kendall, and I felt that these, like, maybe 40, 45 minutes of walk were like some kind of vacation during my day, because the scenery was so beautiful, you know, with like the sun and the chars, and I don't know, I loved it.
Oh, okay. So for people that don't know Boston, basically it's like from Kendall Square, which is Cambridge, MIT area,
Yes.
and then Fenway here is Boston. So it's quite the distance. That distance, 45 minutes back, like one way and then another way back, right?
Yeah, so it's like an hour and a half during the day.
Oh, wow.
But it was worth it. Because really, for me, it was a time when I was not stressed and just enjoying the environment around me.
Okay. So you said you miss bread from France?
Yes, I do.
Imagine wine or no, do you drink wine?
I do drink wine.
Like, do you miss the wine from?
I don't miss it because you can find some like French wine here as well.
Oh, really?
Or sometimes I also bring some from France.
If TSA is watching this, it's like, ask her, like, what do you want to declare? Why? No, it's okay. I bring
Yeah.
pisco from Peru.
There you go.
Acá hay pisco encontrado.
¿Sí?
Sí, sí. I can make pisco sour. And then, so you have wine.
Yes.
What about champagne? Do you drink champagne?
I do drink champagne too. I guess that's something that you can also find in Boston, though it's much more expensive than like in France,
Yeah.
for sure. And you don't have like such a wide, variety of like champagne because of course we have much more, like selection in France. But it's okay. That's not like really, I think for me, the bread, it's what I miss the most. I love cheese as well. And so I think that I definitely miss a lot of like cheese, like French cheese that we can find for the most part in France, and pastries. Because like French, like France is very well known for their bakery as well as like pastries. I'm a sweet tooth. So I love sweet, I guess sweet food in general. And so pastries is also something that you have like hard time to find good pastries in Boston.
Really?
I do think so.
Oh yeah, I mean you're the French national. Is there anything that you feel is totally American now of you? Back in France, people can tell.
I think that I might be more optimistic mindset than I used to be.
Oh.
Because I feel like in the US, they are like very positive and very optimistic for anything.
Yeah.
Resilient towards failure. So I feel like in the US, they will give you like thousands of opportunities, or even yourself. You're going to say, okay, I failed this time, but I can manage to succeed next time. And maybe you're going to fail again, but at some point you're going to succeed. There's this like perseverance that they have here that in France, it's getting better, but there's still like a big culture around failure, and not in a good way, but more like a little bit of like being ashamed because you failed, So you're gonna do everything that you can to avoid that failure. And sometimes I feel that maybe it restricts, your creativity in a sense, or you're gonna really make sure that you framed every possible risk to succeed instead of, okay, I'm going to try. Maybe it's not going to work this time, but it's going to work next time. And then in general, I feel like, American people are way more optimistic and positive than like French people. It's one of the cliche of like, like French people, they are
so serious,
protesting against everything.
They're rude. In Peru, we know more about the Eiffel Tower, champagne, wine, and escargot. At least I knew that.
We are not maybe as, and I'm sorry for the Americans who are going to listen to us, but maybe we are not as politically correct than American people.
Yeah.
And we are a little bit like more straightforward.
Yeah.
So that could come out as rude when you're not used to that. But I think that we are overall not very like rude people. We're just like more straightforward in general. And then, yes, French people are like proud, I think, of like their French language. And as anybody, I think in the world, you appreciate when you go to a foreign country, when you like see like a few words in that foreign, language. So like if I go to Peru and I speak in French or in English, but if I say, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Well, they definitely like it. Or even just, like a gracias, it's going to be very well appreciated. I think it's the same in France. But yes, maybe our level of like English, even if it got much better than it used to be, we'll still have some improvement to do.
Okay. Do you have any awkward moment when you were here in the US and you were trying to share some French stuff to Americans or to somebody?
What do you mean by awkward?
Yeah, about food. When I tell like the green rice I make, so people are like, "Oh my gosh, what's the green?" Like they're not afraid, but they're like, they've never seen green rice.
I mean, definitely about the food. We are like maybe a little bit more picky in terms of food. Or we are, I mean, I know that with my friend, we can be at a dinner and speaking of food, So like we are eating, and on top of like eating, we are talking about like the recipe that we're going to make for Christmas, or, like I don't know, I went to that restaurant and I love the food and it was done this way, that way, that way. And so we are going to talk for like maybe an hour of like food, and that might be something a little bit different from, I don't see like maybe American people in general speaking of food like we do in France. We're like pretty passionate about like food in general.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's one of the difference between the French and American culture.
The culture of like, I don't know if that's the phrase, but there is some American phrase like when they do the American style lunch, go to the computer and just eat whatever and then keep working.
Yeah. For us, it's more like a social break. You take it some time to have lunch as well as like speaking about like anything with your colleagues, with your coworkers. You're going to speak maybe of work, but mostly you're not going to speak about like work during your lunchtime. You're going to talk about, I don't know, life, news, like
relationships,
for example.
Some chisme.
Right?
No chisme. No?
Sí, obviamente, gossip y todo, sí.
Pero, yo me acuerdo.
Entonces es lo que te hace falta, pues.
¿De qué?
Extrañas los chismes durante el almuerzo.
Este estilo de. Ese es el American style, like
sí.
the workaholic, ¿no es cierto?
Yeah.
Pero en Francia eso no sucede.
No, not really. Unless, it happens that sometimes, you're like very, very busy and you have like appointments or meetings during the lunchtime. Then, of course, you're not going to take the time to do it. But on a regular basis, you'll definitely have that break that is, of course, to eat, but also to reset a little bit and have like a social, like relation with your coworkers before you start the afternoon.
Y es cierto que, I watch Emily in Paris.
All right.
Y it's in Paris, ¿verdad? Y es cierto que en Francia no te pueden despedir.
¿Cómo así?
¿No has visto Emily in Paris?
Sí.
Ya, en un episodio que la dueña le iba a despedir, pero en Francia no te despide y cuando entras al trabajo entras tarde a las 10, 11 de la mañana, ¿es cierto?
No es tan cierto. O sea, en Emily in Paris it's a little bit exaggerated.
Okay. For everybody watching Emily in Paris, like, it's not all true.
There's a lot of things that are true in Emily in Paris. It's just that it's a little bit put to a certain extreme, like it's a little bit exaggerated. ¿Cómo así?
¿Cómo dirías? Pues lo han puesto un poco al extremo en Francia.
Yo diría que Emily in Paris, il y a beaucoup de choses qui sont vraies dans cette série, mais c'est un peu exagéré.
Ok. Entendí exagerado.
Eso.
Ok, and like, ¿qué cosas son similares de Emily in Paris, like, en el trabajo?
En el trabajo, bueno, eso es verdad que, o sea, no puedes despedir a una persona como lo haces aquí en Estados Unidos.
Sí.
Aquí en Estados Unidos, o sea, no hay como temporada de probación. Estás siempre en probación porque a cualquier momento de tu vida te pueden despedir, ¿no? Exagero un poquito, pero por un sí o por un no te pueden decir chao, ¿no? En Francia no es así, o sea, tienes como un momento de probación que puede depender del trabajo, se puede demorar entre, no sé, un mes hasta 6, 7 meses. Y una vez que ya pasaste esta temporada y que te lo validaron, pues ya estás seguro en el trabajo en el que estás. Sí es un contrato de largo plazo. Si es un contrato de corto plazo, pues es otra cosa, pero si es un contrato de largo plazo, la verdad para despedirte es complicado. Necesitan como montar todo un informe y todo eso para así argumentar que sí, no estás trabajando bien o lo que sea para despedirte. Entonces, la ley está hecha de manera que protege más al empleado que lo que pasa en Estados Unidos.
Claro, que en Estados Unidos they offer me the job, pero they say 90 days probation. I know a lot of people in the US are like, their work-life balance is just unbalanced.
Yeah.
They just work and basically like...
And there's a lot of anxiety, I feel like, around work and the work security, like making sure that, you have work, and you don't have to worry actually that they are gonna, say bye bye to you tomorrow. In France, I think that we are not that worried in general.
Pero
Pero hay pros y cons. O sea, en cada sistema, digamos, hay ventajas e inconvenientes que vienen con esto. Porque la cosa es que aquí en Estados Unidos, y bueno, obviamente yo tomo ejemplos un poquito exageros también, pero más o menos pueden contratar y despedir cuando quieran, y de manera general los procesos son muy rápidos. O sea, tú puedes buscar a alguien y contratar a esta persona dentro de una semana, porque también esta misma persona puede quitar su trabajo de manera muy rápida, ¿no? En Francia, perdón, todo se demora mucho más en general. Entonces, por eso hay pros y cons en general.
¿Y ahí en Francia pagan overtime o no?
Depende de tu trabajo.
¿Y en el tuyo? ¿No pagaban?
No, but like my contract is a little bit different.
Porque acá sí te pagan overtime. It depends. Si
It
tú haces
depends
un
of your position
contrato,
in
right?
general.
If you have a contract that is salary based, yeah, you don't have overtime.
There you go.
However, that salary base means that you could be working more hours, and basically, because if sometimes, let's say you're a doctor, because I have a friend, he's attending in a pathology. He does a lot of research.
Yeah.
He literally works like average 60 hours a week, average. And when he needs to send grants to the NIH, he works 80 a week.
That's a lot.
And he's in a salary. And so he basically makes what? Per hour for the time that he invests, like, he doesn't make a lot. And he doesn't get overtime. But I mean, he loves his job, of course.
Exactly.
Going back to the example of like how Americans work balanced life they have, they just become like working, and that's why you as a French, immigrant, as to work here, how that you still keep your 30 an hour lunch break. You don't bring your food in front of the computer.
Yeah.
You still have social life. You still balance. That's how the majority of people should at least try to do. No, everything is just work, because I only know that on a blink of an eye, your life is just, you're gonna be older at 60, and what have you done? I remember
Again, it depends on the goals that you have in life, like, not everybody is valuing things the same way. So I definitely value like social time and social activities and me time. I do value my work and what I do at my company, etc. That's definitely something that I value, but I find a balance between both. Some people maybe value more, their work and also the money that they get out of it, at least for like a certain amount of time, And then later on in life, they will figure that they want more, like free time to maybe have a family or spending more time with their relatives or their friends, etc. So it really depends on your perspective here.
That's a valid point. I still don't see the money value though.
Well, actually, in the US, I think money is definitely something very important. It's definitely like a lot of people here are money oriented. I think part of it is because also of the whole system of the US. I mean, I'm going to compare with France, but in France, we have a lot of subventions coming from the government. So a lot of things are way more affordable in France than they are in the US. But it's just because in general, the system is totally different.
And taxes here, we're not going to go into that. But I like your perspective from a French, woman that comes here, like her whole life, like now, and this is quite interesting because as a Peruvian, I'm a student, student visa, but I'm going to do more schooling. But thank God I adapt easily to the culture here because I try to keep it, because here I have so many options, like I have this studio available. I would not have that at home.
Okay.
Like I have my work that gives me some perks or like this flexibility sometimes what I have, or everything is a schedule, here.
Right.
In the US and Peru, that doesn't happen. I don't know how it's in. I'm assuming France is also a scheduled thing, and it's more like
No,
how is it in France?
I think it's very similar to the US. The only difference is that usually we have way more vacation in France than we
Yeah.
do in the US. That's the main difference.
How much vacation do you have in France?
So, like in France, you have a minimum of 5 weeks of PTO,
5 weeks of PTO.
and then you also have like public holidays like you do here.
Yeah. And how do you manage the whole American trending things like Black Friday, Thanksgiving, or this kind of celebrations here, like Valentine's Days?
Okay.
How's that? Especially Black Friday. Like how? Because do you have that in
No, we do. You know, Black Friday is, I think it's kind of international. So,
nowadays?
yes.
But like a while ago, I
like
don't think
a
so.
while ago, like a decade ago.
No, but like
like when I was a kiddo. I think the main difference is the days off that are related to Thanksgiving more than like Black Friday itself, you know. So in France, we don't have any days off during that time because
you don't celebrate
Thanksgiving is
Yeah.
not something we celebrate
Yeah.
up there. Black Friday, again, now it's international. I mean, I definitely wait for like if I have like a list of things that I want to buy, I will most likely wait a little bit. If I'm not in a rush to get this thing, I'll wait for like Black Friday to buy it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you use the system,
The Black Friday trend.
the trend, like the capitalism hands-on.
Yes, I do. I guess I'll use the French excuse here. Because French people, style is very important.
Yeah.
So we cannot only wear Patagonias. Like we can see in, in Boston a lot, we see a lot of people, wearing sweatshirts or leggings or Patagonia. Well, in the French, we have a little bit more style.
No, yeah.
And that's something actually I do appreciate whenever I go back to Paris. When I'm in Paris, I'm in the subway. And I look at people and I'm kind of amazed by their style. It sounds like very genuine, but it's actually true. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I like this coat, or oh, I like this, oh, like the way she styled it. It's pretty cool. And I'm not saying that they don't have style in the US, but like in Boston, it's complicated. I think that in Boston, it's not their main priority. Definitely not.
I mean, not me. It's like a t-shirt from Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and like a sweater band. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that experience for you guys, French people. Oh, you guys dress really nice.
I mean, today I'm very casual, but
oh, this is casual.
I'm casual today.
This is casual. This is my everyday Pauline.
Come on. But like usually, whenever we go to a restaurant, we like to dress up. So it doesn't mean that you have to wear the most fancy thing in the world. It's not about that, but we definitely gonna put a little bit of effort in our outfit to go to the restaurant, more than in the US. And it's kind of like one thing that we laugh at about like American people. We usually say, oh, okay, like when you see somebody get into the restaurant and he has like a short and a t-shirt, we're gonna say, oh, this guy is an American. Because they are way more laid back and casual in general than French people, I think, when they go out.
That makes sense.
And it's not a good or a bad thing, it's just different culture.
Well, it looks nicer.
Though I do appreciate to see like the French people, like putting a little bit of effort. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, el tema importante, relationship.
Uy, ahí viene el chisme.
Ahí estamos ya.
Ya avanzando.
Primera pregunta. Big difference between dating in the US and in France.
So, I think it's complicated to answer this question because since I got into the US, I think a lot of things have changed in France due to the apps. You know?
Yeah.
So like now, like, and I'm not that old,
No.
but before the apps, it used to work differently. So we, for example, I would compare that here you have a culture of dating. So you can date several people at the same time at the beginning of the relation, just like to get to know the people, right? You're maybe not even going to call that a relation, it's just a date.
You're talking
yes.
with someone.
Well, come on. I feel like, according to what I heard, you can actually go further than just talking
Wow.
while
Really?
you have like several dates. Yes.
Really? At like until third base? I don't know. So you're saying that here in the US is like that, but in France it's not like that?
It used to be not like that.
Oh, now change?
Well, now with the apps, I think it's like the behavior has changed because of the app. Like, you know, dating apps, you're going to talk with several people at the same time and potentially dating several people at the same time. Before that, like, you were not doing that. Like, almost as soon as you were, and I've said that like to like several friends and they were like very shocked about that. But I feel that like before, as soon as you were maybe kissing somebody, you were together. And you were not thinking about it. It was just natural. You were together. You would actually word it if it was not a relation. It was just, you know, how you call that already? You know, like a friendship plus plus.
Wait, what?
Tenemos que cortar eso. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? Cuando tienes más que solo amigos, pues. Pues puede ser exclusivo, pero casual. Yeah. But
pero
I think
French plus plus.
Like sex friend or like how do you call that?
Fuck buddy.
Well, that's one.
Yeah, fuck buddy. But
this is me, French, but because I couldn't remember the word of it.
Like, you mean fuck buddy? Just that?
Yeah.
Pero eso
like
es
sex
normal.
friends. Yeah, well, but in France you would word it as if it's a sex friend. I mean, like, if you are my boyfriend, I'm not going to ask you, do you want to be my boyfriend? It would just be natural.
Oh, so you guys don't do the boyfriend-girlfriend question in France?
Exactly, no. Like, it's just natural. It just goes...
But how do you know that person is not being with another person?
Well, that would just go with the flow. Before the all apps trend.
All apps.
You know? Antes de todo eso, o sea, realmente ibas a dar un beso y más o menos ya estábamos juntos, pues. Ahora, con las apps, ha cambiado. Porque tú puedes tener dates con varias personas al mismo tiempo y entonces más o menos tienes que clarificar la situación, como es el caso aquí en Estados Unidos, porque de la misma manera tú puedes salir con varias personas y a un momento como que tener tu selección súper exclusiva y decir, bueno, entre estas varias personas yo voy a escoger tal persona porque me parece que me conviene mejor.
Claro, y está
bien. Yo no digo que hay un plan que es mejor que el otro, sino que es lo diferente. Y de resto, pues me imagino que en Francia vas a tener más como planes que son de ir a tomar algo, de pronto un plan de charcutería y queso, cosas así. Es muy cliché, pero es de verdad, digamos. Eso sería, sí, un plan date que podrías tener en Francia. Bueno, yo no creo que...
Bastante experiencia, por favor.
Yo no sé si yo soy un buen ejemplo porque, de hecho, yo salí con personas que son más internacionales que americanos como tal.
¿Aquí?
Sí.
Ok, pero...
De pronto porque porque yo... Dale tú.
Pero tú has salido acá con más personas internacionales.
Sí.
Pero...
No tanto americanos.
Blanco americano, no tanto.
No, que sea blanco o no, o sea, más bien americanos que nacieron acá.
Okay.
O yo salí con americanos que de pronto nacieron acá, pero que tenían también otro origen que era también súper importante.
Ok. Pero ellos
como doble nacionalidad.
¿Y cómo los conociste la mayoría? ¿Por apps? ¿Por IRL, en real life? ¿Cómo fue?
De los dos.
De los dos.
Sí,
Pero, ok, acá es la pregunta. Ellos te dicen para salir a la cita, right? To ask you a
Yeah.
date. I want to take you on a date.
Yeah,
Quiero invitar. ¿Cómo fue tu experiencia? Ellos ¿cómo te preguntaban para ir a la primera cita? ¿O cómo tú sabías
What do you mean?
que esta persona tenía intenciones románticas contigo?
Well, they would, I guess, ask me for like a drink, or I mean, when it's an app, like
Yeah, it's obviously, okay.
it's a
Pero
little bit more obvious.
yeah.
When it's in real life, I mean, because I'm dancing,
Yeah, that's how we
we've
met.
known each other through dancing. So sometimes, you're gonna dance with somebody and, well, somehow, like, there's a nice flow, and you're gonna start, speaking with that person a little bit more. And maybe at some point that person's gonna invite you and say, hey, like, do you wanna go for a drink? Or this kind of thing.
Pero, like, no te dicen, like, I would like to take you out. Como que el take you out means, like, or just, like, let's go for a drink. Si yo digo, let's go for a drink, pero no, like, I would like to take you out for a drink, es diferente. Porque I would like to take you out for a drink, I'm seeing you as a intentional romantic relationship.
Sí.
While take you for a drink is more
Sí.
like, I like you, you're hot, you're attractive, but that would be it.
¿Ves? Yo creo que es la diferencia con los franceses. Yo, o por ejemplo conmigo, no sé, pero yo por parte no hago la diferencia. Al principio, por lo menos, en la primera cita, yo digo, voy a tomar algo con alguien que de pronto tiene intenciones, pero no significa que de una nos vamos a enamorar.
No, pues.
Pero lo que
las
quiero
intenciones-
decir es que esta primera cita es como para conocerse un poquito más. Puede que sea para ser amigos después, o puede ser para que no sea nada después, o de pronto hará algo un poquito más que solo ser amigos.
Ya, pero ¿y quién paga? Ellos pagan.
Ok, de pronto es una diferencia con Francia también. En Francia, más y más, se hace como, o sea, uno comparte la cuenta.
¿En serio?
Sí, sí, sí.
No way.
Y yo sé que yo, en mi caso, varias veces yo propuse como para decir, no, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a compartir la cuenta. Y no es como solo por decir,
No, sino tú sí lo...
pero de verdad, o sea, tengo la intención.
Sí.
O sea, entonces, o el hombre va a decir, no que no, y tampoco es que voy a luchar 3 horas para pagar, ¿no?
No, yo por
O sea,
favor.
porque a un momento como que se pone una situación un poquito ridícula, que
Claro.
no, que
Ah,
sí,
ya,
que
ya.
no, que así. O a veces está como que, no, realmente me conviene como para pagar, es normal, es la primera vez que nos encontramos y entonces a mí me parece normal.
Pero si el chico te invita, yo esperaría que él va a pagar. Porque eso es lo que yo digo a alguien, oye, vamos a
Sí.
tal lugar, I would like to take you out. Entonces yo sí voy a pagar. I don't need, at least cuando yo estoy invitando, ¿no? Y eso para mí es como que sobreentiende. Y ella me puede decir, no estoy seguro, porque ponte la cuenta de $120, ¿ya? Y ya, pues $120 en 2 horas es bastante dinero. Entonces yo, no, sí, yo pago normal. Y si ella se ofrece, yo puedo aportar algo, no te preocupes, yo te invito, ok, vamos.
O a veces lo que pasa también es que, por ejemplo, digamos que vamos por una cena, ¿no? Y entonces el hombre quiere pagar y digamos que después de eso vamos por un trago más. En este caso voy a decir, bueno, esta vez sí soy yo que pago.
Ah, ya entendí.
¿Ves?
Entendí,
Porque
entendí.
a mí me parece normal que en un momento no vas a pagar todo. Aunque la verdad en Estados Unidos, o sea, los hombres sí en general en la primera cita quieren pagar todo.
Yo
Y
diría...
en las citas en general, o sea, me parece que ellos quieren pagar todo, pero a mí me parece normal que a un momento yo también pago. O sea, por varias razones. Por parte es que, o sea, es también un placer para mí de invitar a la otra persona, porque significa que también la aprecio y que estoy pasando un buen momento con esta persona. Entonces es una manera de mostrarlo también, como que, ¿sabes qué? A mí me da gusto de invitarte a ir en este lugar y de compartir este momento juntos.
Ya.
Por lo menos es así que lo veo yo. Yo sé que no todas las mujeres lo ven así, y
No.
tampoco todos los hombres, pero pues...
Porque yo diría, si yo invito a la cena y está bien y vamos a un bar y tú ofreces a pagar, ok, está bien, no, yo no me haría problema. Yo estaría igual. O sea,
¿Ve?
no... Pero si yo te invito solo cena y yo te he invitado, yo te digo, I would like to take you, but I want to be direct, so at least I would say, I would like to take you out for this
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
If I say, oh, let's just grab dinner, or we should grab dinner, no. I will literally be like half and half. I will not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's at least me, because the more direct I am, I think at the beginning, the better, at least in my opinion, because
Yeah, I guess you set expectations.
yeah, that would be. ¿Y dónde te llevan usually for the first day? ¿A qué lugar?
Like, we're in Boston.
No, en Boston. Pero, ¿qué lugares? ¿O un café
I
o una
mean,
cena o a bar?
sabes que yo hice dates muy distintos.
The first one.
Sí, y muy originales, de hecho.
A ver, cuenta.
Una vez yo encontré a un chico y la primera cita fue que fuimos a correr juntos.
Pero a correr no han
Fuimos,
hablado nada.
sí, hablamos juntos mientras estábamos corriendo y después de correr fuimos a tomar un desayuno.
Ah, ok, that's a good one.
Y bueno, otras veces como a dar una vuelta caminando y tomar un café o algo así, o un chocolate porque yo no tomo café, o un helado, o no sé, a ir a un restaurante para una cena. Yo creo que lo más común es eso, como que ir a tomar un trago en un bar o ir a un restaurante.
El correr me gustó. No puse a correr.
Es diferente. A mí me pareció chévere porque fue diferente.
Okay, that makes sense. Sí, también me gusta. O sea, pero tienes que saber si la otra persona también corre.
Obviamente, pues es
No.
que
Ya
es
estabas
una
hablando.
primera
Sí,
cita,
claro.
entonces habíamos hablado antes para saber, o sea, lo que uno le gusta.
Claro,
Y entonces así vino en la conversación.
Ah, ya. ¿Y algún type of men que tengas? O sea, en general, ¿no? O sea, no te digo que específico, pero ¿qué prefieres? Porque todos tenemos, la atracción es física, visual. That's the first
Yes.
thing, right? Eso, majority of people,
Yeah.
if you have normal sight, tú ves a la persona y te atrae físicamente y te gusta.
O sea que voy a decir al mundo entero
No, al mundo,
lo que
no.
estoy buscando en una persona.
Solo es un type. Yo te puedo decir, ya me gustan altas, bajas, no sé, morenitas, no morenitas. ¿Cuál es tu tipo? Pues?
Ok. O sea, físicamente no voy a entrar en detalles porque además no me parece que es. Y de pronto puedes soñar como súper, súper cliché o súper como, like, naive or whatever. But I don't really have like a very, like, like the physical attraction is one thing, but it's not the most important thing, I think. Pero lo que me gusta en alguien es que sea alguien como internacional y no tiene que ser como una persona que sí tiene varias nacionalidades, pero de pronto una persona que ha viajado. Porque así tenemos un interés en común, porque yo he viajado demasiado y además soy una francesa que vive en otro país. Entonces, obviamente, la cultura de los demás es algo que me interesa demasiado. Me parece que es conocer de los demás, de las costumbres, de los hábitos, de las lenguas, porque se dice así, no se dice así en tal o tal lengua. Es súper interesante y me parece que se me hace más rica. Y alguien deportivo o que le gusta el deporte para mí.
Para ti.
Sí, para mí.
¿Qué le gusta el deporte?
Porque es algo el deporte es algo importante en mi vida. Entonces yo quiero a alguien que sea así activo. No tiene que hacer deporte todos los días, pero que sí le importa. O que sí le digo, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a correr. Que sí le gusta hacer eso. Que no sea yo sola todo el tiempo haciendo eso. O no sé, por ejemplo, que alguien que haga una actividad deportiva y que yo puedo ir a ver la persona practicando esto, cosas así. Eso es algo que...
¿Y en el sentido de comida o alcohol? Que coma bien, mal, que se cuide.
Que se cuide, pero tampoco en un punto extremo. O sea, yo creo que tendría dificultad de pronto de estar con alguien que tiene restricciones súper extremas, como decir, yo sé que hay personas, por ejemplo, por razón no sé, de tener más músculos o lo que sea, solo van a comer pollo por meses y solo pollo. Pollo y leche, por ejemplo, no sé. Y nada de legumbres y nada más que solo pollo y leche, pues yo creo que sería complicado para mí. Porque me gusta comer, me gusta probar nueva comida.
Claro.
Entonces, sí sería complicado. Pero, y al principio yo decía, yo creo que, por ejemplo, estar con alguien que sea vegetariano sería complicado para mí. Y en fin,
Sí.
me di cuenta que no tanto.
¿No?
No.
No, no,
No a partir del momento que esta persona no me va a impedir de comer lo que quiero.
pero en mi caso es como que la comida peruana, si estoy con alguien vegetariano, es como, ¿qué vas a comer de la comida peruana? Arroz, papa y vegetales, pero no, el ceviche, el lomo saltado.
Bueno, a ver, depende del vegetariano, porque me parece que aquí a veces dicen vegetariano para alguien que es pescatariano.
Ah,
Entonces, que
pescatarian.
aún
Ya,
come...
pero igual, pero el lomo saltado.
Es verdad, pero, o sea, yo, por ejemplo, no necesito que esta persona coma de carne o de pollo, o, pues sí, de carne en general, a partir del momento que esta misma persona no me va a impedir de comerlo.
Claro, no te va a controlar nada. Ah, ok,
Eso.
ok.
Porque hay gente
Interesante.
que sí es vegetariana
Y
y que
controla y
quiere
quiere
que
cambiar a
la
la
otra
otra
persona sea
persona.
igual.
Sí, sí, sí,
Pues
sí.
si cada uno puede comer lo que quiere, ahí vamos.
Eso sí,
Pero
sí.
que no sea alguien, por ejemplo, si esta persona come hamburguesas y papas fritas todos los días, no va a funcionar conmigo.
Now, I mean, I know you speak 3 languages.
Yes.
So French, Spanish, and English. Do you feel that having these 3 languages really fluent that have a big difference when dating people?
In some ways, I think it had some like curiosity, like around, like towards me, as well as some like charm, you know.
Okay.
Because definitely when I speak English or even when I speak Spanish, I have a French accent.
Oh yeah.
So you know, like from the very beginning, like people are gonna say, "Hey, like where are you from? Like what is the accent, etc." And some people might be like offended. I really don't care. I think it's totally fine. And that could be actually the beginning of like some conversations, you know, like, oh, you're from Paris. Well, maybe like that person has traveled to Paris, or maybe they're gonna say, oh, like pretty much like all the questions that we went through, you know, what are the difference, or what do you miss from your country, or this kind of thing, you know. So it's somehow like like an icebreaker to, you know, start the conversation. I feel like.
That's cool.
And also because in general, France and the French culture, a lot of people like fancy this culture, you know, because or fantasize a little bit that culture. So I guess it gives me an advantage in a way.
What do you mean fantasize? Like everybody wants to kiss a French woman,
I don't know about that.
or like going to Paris, the city of love.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of people really want to go to Paris and see how it is, and not even only Paris, but also like Nice, for example, and the food and the romance, etc. Everything that you can hear of, you know, Paris in general, it's usually positive stuff, except for the strikes.
Oh yeah.
But usually, like when American gonna talk about like France, it's about, you know, the I don't know, the castles and the Eiffel Tower and the French romance, and you know, so that's pretty positive in general.
And I'm curious, so because not a lot of people, mostly men, would guess that you speak fluent Spanish and everything. Does anybody who have a work experience, somebody assume that you didn't speak Spanish?
Yes, a lot.
And they say something thinking that you would not understand, or to his friend or his buddy or something like.
Yes.
What happened?
That happened more in, well, you know, like Central or South America when I travel. Definitely some people could say something. But I don't think I've experienced anything negative.
Okay.
But they would say something, and I would actually maybe like interrupt them and like speak in Spanish or actually answer in Spanish, and they would say, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Because I mean, I guess I don't look like the typical, Latino person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, no, but
But
like,
they usually gladly surprise, as soon as, you start speaking Spanish with them, they're like pretty happy about that.
oh, okay.
Because it means that somehow you got some curiosity to learn the language first and then to interact with them.
Algo de Francia from your Romance culture that you wish Americans will adopt. Like holding hands on the street,
Yeah.
French kisses on the street.
Yes, I
Yeah,
guess.
French kiss, right?
Sí, la verdad yo creo que los franceses son un poquito más, no son calientes, pero son más
Románticos, ¿no?
relajados
Relajados.
En cuanto a lo que llaman aquí DPA, right?
PDA.
Or PDA,
Public
public
display
display
of
of affection. Yeah,
affection,
right.
yeah.
France, I feel like we are a little bit more loose.
Yeah, in Peru as well.
In this kind of like thing.
Yeah, like
in the
holding
US, they are a
hands.
little bit like more frigid.
Yeah, in Peru we're like holding hands, we
Yes.
kiss. We don't kiss that French, but we kiss. Normal.
Yeah, exactly.
We hug, yeah, a lot of holding hands.
Yeah, same in France.
Playfulness. Yeah, here it's more like the
They're more
majority.
careful.
I don't know why they do that here in the US though, but they do it.
I think that maybe it's related to some like conservatism
And like
back in the days.
back in the days probably. And what advice would you give to someone dating across cultures? Any funny tip for someone in the first culture exchange? Because you are from France, so if somebody from other country comes here and wants to know how to date people, what advice would you give to an international too? Because you're
Right.
international, I'm international. I mean, we live already 8 years plus here in the US, so what would you give as an advice?
Am I the best person to give advices here?
That is fine, of course you are. Not because you are like...
Es complicado aquí porque tenemos que poner palabra en cualquier cosa. Porque tenemos que decir, bueno, estamos en this stage of the relation. I think I don't know.
Pero
Quita todo el romance de una relación diciendo, ahora somos dates. Tomorrow, we're gonna get the talk. And after tomorrow, we are like officially boyfriend, girlfriend.
But like the point is, the idea of that is like you don't
get confused about like
what if you like someone else and somebody else flirts with you and then you're also interested in that person? How will you...
Okay, what prevents you to actually flirt with that person? Because you are with the other ones?
Yeah, if you're...
Yeah, sure, but actually, come on. It's nothing new for anybody. Well, even if you're like in a relation, maybe sometimes even when you're married, like people also get to know some other people. It's not morally correct, or morally correct according to the society moral, but this is something that happens, so, Obviamente cuando tú dices yo estoy en una relación, se te pone la cosa un poquito más oficial y entonces se supone que no vas a buscar a otra persona, pero ¿quién te impide de hacerlo?
Tú mismo, pues, porque tú tienes la intención de estar con esa persona.
Sí, pero digamos que tienes novia, ¿no? Y que mañana yo voy por ti y que me gustas mucho.
Y yo te digo, sorry, no
Pero
no
de
puedo...
pronto hay personas que no dicen, no, sorry.
Pero eso depende de cada uno. Pues.
Eso que acabo de...
Y es por eso que tú no has definido la etapa de relación.
Pero por más que tú la defines, no significa que la otra persona no va a hacer lo que le da la gana. Eso que estoy diciendo.
Eso también es válido.
Es que aparentemente se te da más cuadro, ¿no? Y es que normalmente si tú lo hablas con la persona con la quien estás y él te contesta, bueno, sí, la verdad, yo también quiero una relación seria. Se supone que hay un acuerdo y hay un entendido que sí, ustedes están juntos y entonces que no van a buscar a otra persona. Pero puede que pase que en tu vida vas a encontrar a otra persona con quien vas a tener una atracción increíble y tú te vas a dar cuenta que, en fin, de pronto la persona con quien estabas o con quien estás no es finalmente la persona que te corresponde 100% y vas a cambiar para otra persona, ¿no? Puede que pase,
Sí.
por más que estás comprometido con esta persona. Entonces, es tu propia voluntad. ¿Qué hago?
Yeah, like,
¿Es que yo quedo con esta persona porque tengo un compromiso? ¿O entonces me voy para lo que pienso que me puede salir mejor con esta persona?
pero es por eso que dicen que love is a choice.
Exactly. It's a choice and a sacrifice in a way.
Yeah, but like that's why you have to get to know that person.
Oui, je sais, but es lo que te digo. Bueno, solo por eso que te digo esto.
Ah.
Antes, más que todo, no teníamos todo esta conversación de si estamos serios o no estamos serios. No, es que porque estamos juntos, seguimos el camino, y si el camino está bonito juntos, pues lo seguimos juntos. Y que no hay toda esta conversación de, bueno, nos conocemos, parece que todo mola, que todo mola entre nosotros, y entonces, ¿sabes qué? Yo quiero que seamos serios. ¿Y entonces qué? ¿Significa que todo lo que está antes no era serio?
Bueno, si desde el comienzo tú sabías que era algo intencional.
Es como el matrimonio, ¿no? El matrimonio se supone que es una etapa en tu love life, pero no significa que es no se supone que sea el goal. No tiene que ser el objetivo, es una etapa más en el romance que tienes con esta persona.
Y más o menos tú, en tu parecer, ¿cuánto tiempo uno puede conocer a una persona? Claro, uno no termina de conocer a una persona en años, pero ¿cuánto tiempo crees que tú puedes conocer a una persona para entablar algo ya a futuro, ¿me entiendes?
Es complicado porque, bueno, yo sé que todo tiene como su contesta, pero me parece que, por ejemplo, cuando tienes 20, 25 años, ¿no? A mí me parece que se demora un poquito más para conocer las personas, porque tú no te conoces a ti tampoco. A veces. Te
Ya.
estás buscando y a la misma vez estás buscando a una persona con quien quieres compartir, ¿no?
Claro.
Entonces, por parte, cada uno está buscando su camino, además de pronto tratar de conocer a la otra persona que de pronto no se conoce bien, ¿no? Mientras que ahora, bueno, a mi edad, tu edad, ya tenemos más experiencia, más vivido, y entonces de pronto sabemos un poquito más lo que queremos, dónde queremos ir, lo que buscamos, y entonces yo creo que hay etapas que a veces son más rápidas para conocer a una persona ahora que antes.
Claro, a esta edad es como que uno incluso sientes si tú estás conociendo a una persona, te das cuenta si esa persona no solo está viéndote a ti o dating tú, está viendo a las personas y te das cuenta y dices,
Ya.
no, entonces, hey, entonces, normal, pues sí, yo no prefiero eso y...
Y a veces, entonces es lo complicado porque me parece que, bueno, ya cuando tenemos un poquito más de edad, a veces como que la relación va mucho más rápida. O sea, digamos que después de un año se casan. Y es ahí que es complicado porque de pronto durante este año todo fue bonito, ¿no? Todo fue lindo porque cada uno tiene una vida chévere y entonces vive momentos chéveres también. Y digamos que después de un año ya se casaron y todo. Después de un año, no sé por cuál razón, una de las dos personas, por ejemplo, pierde su empleo, ¿no? Y entonces se encuentra en una situación de pronto de depresión o lo que sea. Y entonces es toda otra personalidad que no conocías antes que se va a revelar.
Sí, pues.
Y de pronto, esta misma persona que amabas tanto antes porque todo era chévere, cuando empieza el momento más complicado, es ahí que te das cuenta como que, ay, eso no me gusta. Y eso no lo puedo aguantar. Y su manera de manejar el malestar no me gusta porque no sé, porque esta persona no es positiva para nada, no trata de buscar el buen camino, el camino que le puede ayudar para salir de todo esta situación complicada y todo eso. Y entonces ahí, de repente, divorcian porque en fin no conocían tanto la persona con quien estaban, o por lo menos no tampoco están listos para de pronto enfrentar este tipo de situación con esta misma persona. O, ¿sabes? De luchar por esta misma relación.
Claro. Pero eso también depende, pues, porque
Obvio.
esta situación
Es un caso.
es un caso que uno no lo toma en cuenta, pero pasa. Pero para llegar a ese caso y conocer a esa persona, uno tiene que también en el dating thing, ¿no? En el primer 6 meses de la relación, es como que también ahí puedes preguntar algunas cosas, o puedes indagar si alguna vez te ha pasado esto, alguna
Sí.
vez, y ahí es donde conoces, ¿no?
Sí, sí. Porque al revés también hay personas, o sea, hay miles de ejemplos, ¿no? Porque hay también personas que se encuentran después de unos meses ya son súper enamorados y después, no sé, a los 6 meses se
Ya,
casan y en fin se quedan por toda la vida. Y es de maravilla también, es un ejemplo súper lindo. Entonces yo creo que cada persona tiene su propio modo de funcionar, de vivir la relación y de ver lo que le corresponde o lo que le conviene en esta... No me gusta lo que le conviene, de hecho, más bien lo que le corresponde en la
lo que le
relación.
corresponde a la vecindad, ok. Pero algún advice, pues, un consejo, nos hemos ido de esa pregunta. El consejo que darías a una persona internacional, inmigrante.
Yo creo que tienes que tener open mindset porque tú tienes tu cultura y esta persona tiene su cultura también. A veces toca ser un poquito más tolerante, yo creo.
Tolerante.
Porque, por ejemplo, yo te voy a decir una cosa de una cierta manera porque yo lo siento de esta manera con la cultura que yo tengo. Y tú de pronto lo vas a recibir de otra manera. Porque según tu cultura, cuando uno te dice tal cosa, no lo vas a recibir de la misma manera. Porque ya primero siendo una mujer o un hombre, o de hecho 2 hombres o 2 mujeres, o sea, lo que sea, siendo 2 personas diferentes, ya no recibimos, ¿sabes?, los mensajes de la misma manera por la cultura que tenemos o sino también por el vivido que tenemos. Y no sé si tuviste hermanos o hermanas o si eres un niño único, lo que sea, no sé, lo que te pasó en la, ¿cómo se dice? Niñez.
En la niñez,
Eso,
adolescencia.
¿sabes? Entonces, por todas esas razones, tú no vas a recibir los mensajes o los gestos de la misma manera, pero la cultura se te añade como una layer on top of that.
That's okay.
No,
That's
you don't
a
feel
good
like the same way?
advice. No, sí, sobre la cultura es bien importante, es que especialmente para personas inmigrantes, internacionales, para nosotros, ¿no? Que venimos a este país a estudiar, trabajar, lo que sea. Claro, es diferente porque no hemos crecido lo mismo que acá, no hemos hecho lo mismo, no hemos tenido las mismas experiencias. Y ese es el problema que a veces pasa, porque por ejemplo yo no tenía sleepovers, no tenía, mi colegio era, high school era only boys, no era mixed. En Perú, having sex and teenager, it's like still taboo, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't like an open thing. Here it's like completely fine, no problem, it's more like these kind of things that.
So what would you be your advice for like international people?
Well, for international
dating.
people, or international dating, because this is even Americans would like to know, right? Because a lot of Americans date international people,
Right,
and also international people fell in love with Americans,
right.
or even other international people. But for me, one advice would be, besides keeping an open mind, like you said, be curious about the other person's culture. Be willing to learn the language of the other person.
Yes.
That's one important thing, because I know it's hard for somebody that hasn't spoken French or Spanish in their life, just English, or put some effort into learn the language and also understand that we always struggle. Well, the majority of us, I would say, not all of us. We struggle because baseline, we're away from home.
Yes.
Baseline, we don't have our family. Not all of us, but the majority. Baseline, we don't live in our own city where we can do things differently. Baseline, our country could have some political issues that affect our family.
Fair enough.
So I would say put a little bit into effort. What's happening in this my partner's country? Where is this person from? I would like to know a little more so you understand that. For me, that would be a lot important because it shows that you do care.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree.
And even another advice would be like, don't assume that because I live so many years here, I already know everything about the US.
That is true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I know that a lot of people think that, oh, I've been here 8, 9 years. I'm like 9 years in the US, you're 7 years. So
Yes.
doesn't mean that I know everything. Also, if you haven't been to the country, the person you're dating
Right.
for,
You don't know
you
exactly.
don't know exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you've been and you live there and you understand, it's much better.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're dating somebody, you have some commonality
Mm-hmm.
because that's why you're interested in that person. So then you can go through. You start there, you
Yeah.
know?
Though I feel also that it's important to be mindful of your own culture because it's where you're from. And so you shouldn't, like erase or like remove your culture background to fit in the other culture.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
think you should be curious about the other, like other person, culture, background, country, habits or whatever, language. But you also should be aware of your own culture and embrace it in a way.
And then, so we're kind of getting to final moment. Would you say you feel like home here now?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. When was this? Like, how does the, what does home mean for you now? Because I'm curious. I don't know if I feel like home here. I just feel like I need to do my education. But what about? Okay, explain, please. I'm curious. I'm curious.
I think that home is not so much about like a place where you live, but it's more about the people you're surrounded with and how you feel about the place you live in. It's very vague, but it's not because I'm in Paris surrounded by French people that I feel home. I feel home because here I'm surrounded by a group of people that I love. So of course I do feel home when I'm, in my family in France, but I do have like very close friends here that that I consider as a second family,
So when was the moment you were like, okay, this is home for me?
I think it was somehow 2 years after I got here. Because initially I had a contract of 1.5 years. So I was more in the mindset that I didn't want to feel home here. Because I was like, if I feel home and I have to go back to France, I'm gonna miss people, I'm gonna miss this place, I'm gonna miss a lot of things, and I'm gonna feel some kind of lack, in my heart. And I didn't want to feel that. So initially I had like I was taking everything with a certain distance. And then when I got back here with a new visa and I knew that it was for like a long-term time, I was like, okay, now here Boston's gonna be my home. And that's how it started.